My name is Prajakta Dhake. I am from Department of Zoology, KTHM College, Nashik. Today I will be taking a class for SYBSc for first semester. The subject that we are dealing with is Animal Diversity 3, Paper 1. Now, the chapter that we are going to begin with today is a new chapter, and the chapter is Study of Scoliodon. This is the first lecture of this particular chapter. The topic that we are going to see today is systematic position and general characters of Scoliodon. See, you might have seen sharks in the movies, right? Huge sharks in the movies. Now today what we are going to see is also this particular organism, Scoliodon, is also a shark, right? But it is not as larger shark as that you see in the movies. It is a smaller shark, okay? And this is frequently used in for laboratory studies. So let's begin. Now this particular Scoliodon, or say shark, it also belongs to the chondrichthyes. So it is a chondrichthyes fish, right? Now we have already studied the characteristic of chondrichthyes fish. They are exclusively marine organisms, right? And their characteristic is that presence of placoid scales. These organisms, they have heterocircle tails. We have already seen the characteristic of chondrichthyes fish. The main characteristic that is present in these organisms is that their endoskeleton is cartilaginous. It is made up of cartilage. So these fishes are also called as cartilaginous fishes. Scoliodon is one of the cartilaginous fish. Okay. So we have in the earlier chapters we have already learnt about the chondrichthyes. Okay. So we have learnt about sharks, we have learnt about rays, right? So Scoliodon, as I have already mentioned, is one such genus of shark belonging to this particular class of cartilaginous fish. The typical Indian genus, right, Scoliodon, by about 9 species, of which very common in Indian seas are going to be 4 species. The 4 species are Scoliodon soracova, which we are going to study in detail, Scoliodon dumereli, third one is Scoliodon palisora, and fourth one is Scoliodon valbhemi. Okay, so there are 9 species of Indian genus Scoliodon. Now out of these 9 species, 4 are very commonly seen in the Indian seas, which are represented over here. Okay, now this particular Scoliodon is also referred to as a dogfish. Why dogfish? What is a characteristic feature of dogs? It is that they have a strong or a powerful sense of smell, right? So this is called as dogfish because these particular fishes also have a very acute, very strong sense of smell like that of the dogs. This is essential for or this aids in the finding of food easily. So this is going to help them to find the food easily. Now what we are going to focus today on is, or throughout this particular chapter, is Scoliodon soracova. We are going to study this particular organism or this particular species in details. Now this particular species was first worked out by E.M. Thilayampalam and published in 1928 in the series of Indian Zoological Memoirs. Now Scoliodon soracova means, what does it mean, right? So soracova, if we break the word soracova, it is like sora is shark and kova is black. This we are talking about the Tamil language, so it is also referred to as a black shark, right? Now it has it has various names. If you change the region, the name of this particular organism is also going to change. So in different languages or different areas, it is called by different names. Like in Telugu, it is called as Nulian sora. In Malayalam, it is called as Alupidian. In Marathi it is called as mushi. In Bengali it is called as hunger. So you will find various vernacular names for this particular organism, and they are going to change according to the change in the area, right? So now let's see the systematic position of this particular organism. We all know that it comes under phylum Chordata. Now why it comes under phylum Chordata? Because very obvious reasons. It has presence of notochord, it is a triploblastic organism, it is a coelomate organism, right? It is going to have a heart will be ventrally located. So maximum of the characters are represented of phylum Chordata. Now why subphylum Vertebrata? Because the notochord is replaced by vertebral column, right? In these organisms, in earlier stages of development, like in very embryonic stages, they had notochord which got replaced by vertebral column as they kept on growing. Okay, as the growth of the organism proceeded, this notochord was replaced by the stronger structure which is vertebral column. Now it belongs to division Gnathostomata. Now why Gnathostomata? Because it has true jaws present in it. Okay, presence of true jaws makes it a Gnathostomata. It belongs to superclass Pisces. Why Pisces? Because it is a true fish. It has paired as well as median fins are present. It has gills. It has scaly skin. Right. It has presence of scales in it. Now, this particular organism belongs to class Chondrichthyes, mostly marine, cartilaginous endoskeleton and skin with placoid scales. We have initially discussed this, and in the previous lectures also we have discussed why it is called as a Chondrichthyes. Now, so it belongs to subclass Selachii. Why Selachii? Is because gill slits are protected by skin flap. Understand one thing, each gill slit is protected by a small flap. Do not misunderstand it as an operculum. It is not an operculum. There will be presence of skin flaps only. Spiracle will be present behind the eyes and cloaca is also present. Now it belongs to order Squaliformis. Why order Squaliformis? Because the gill slits are going to be lateral. Now the members of order Squaliformis have 5 to 7 pair of gill slits, right? So being a member of this particular order, this organism has only 5 pair of gill slits. Clear? 5 on either side, which is going to make it 10. 5 pair of gill slits are present. The spiracle is small, and the tail, which is very common when we are talking about the Chondrichthyes also, these organisms have heterocircle kind of tail. It belongs to family Carcharinidae, and why it belongs to order Carcharinidae? It is because eyes are round and 1 or 2 gill slits fall over the pectoral fin base. It belongs to genus Scoliodon and the species is Soracova. Now henceforth, whatever we are discussing, whatever general characters we will be discussing, whatever characteristic features we will be discussing will be all specific to Scoliodon Soracova. So this is the systematic position of this particular organism. Let's move further with the geographical distribution, right? Its geographical distribution is very wide. Okay, it will be found from Zanzibar to Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka to Malaya Archipelago in Indian Oceans, the Bay of Bengal, the East Indies and the Philippine Islands, Mexico to Panama in the Eastern Pacific, Labrador to Brazil in Atlantic, Cuba in West Indies and eastern coasts of South America. So it has a very wide. So moving on to the next part, let's see what habitat it has. So Scoliodon is found in marine waters, right, in almost all the parts of open sea, that is Indian, Pacific and Atlantic Ocean. It is a carnivorous and predaceous animal, feeding on crabs, lobsters, worms, shrimps and other fishes. Its perfectly streamlined body without any rigid projection gives it a fast swimming ability. right? If the body has projections, rigid projections coming out, it is going to create a friction for its movement, right? It will not be able to swim properly inside the water, or the speed will be reduced, right, because of the friction created by the rigid projections. So hence it does not have any kind of rigid projections present on the body. In this particular organism, say Scoliodon, sexes are going to be separate. Fertilization is internal fertilization. Development is going to be direct development. We have already seen what is internal fertilization, what is direct development in earlier lectures, right? It is also a viviparous organism. What is viviparous organism? We all know what is viviparity. That is, it gives birth directly to the living young ones. Okay, and why does this happen? Because the embryonic development takes place inside the uterus of the mother itself. Clear? Now moving on to the next part. The next part that we are going to see is external characters of Scoliodon. You can see in this particular image all the everything is properly being given. Okay, this you can refer to this image when I am talking about the general characters. Now let's first talk about the shape of the Scoliodon. If you see the body, it is elongated body, right? Streamlined body is present, which is going to be tapering at both the ends. If you see here, at both the ends the body is tapering. Clear? Now the body of the Scoliodon, if you see on the head portion, right, its head portion is dorsoventrally compressed. I am talking only about the head portion. Please understand this thing. This particular portion over here, this particular portion is going to be dorsoventrally compressed, whereas the entire body from here to here is going to be laterally compressed, right? Laterally compression of the body will be seen. Now this because of this kind of body structure, it is allowed to move inside with least resistance. So anything which creates a lot of resistance is avoided in this kind of body structure, and this saves a lot of energy. So what is the size of this particular organism? It can attain a size of 60 centimeters on full growth. What you see in the movies are very huge sharks. They are like what do you say, their length is going to be in meters, right? Say 2 meters, 1 meter, whatever it is. Such a large sharks are seen, but this one is the smaller one. On full growth, it is going to attain a size of 60 centimeters, approximately 60 centimeters. Let's see about its color. Now dorsally it is going to appear a bit dark, right? It is going to be dark gray in color on the dorsal side, while the ventral side is going to be pale white. This particular region, if you see from the ventral side, it is going to be pale white. Now body division. Let's talk about its body division. The body of Scoliodon is divisible as head, trunk and tail. If you see in this particular diagram, do you find any demarcation that head is ending here, trunk is starting from somewhere else and tail is starting from somewhere else? No. There are no clearly marked boundaries between these three regions. So if you see in this particular diagram, there is neck is totally absent. So neck is absent and body has no clear demarcations between the three regions, that is head, trunk and tail. Let's begin. Thank you so much for listening.